This is project 5a of chapter 2. It starts on page number 57. We'll be talking about absolute reference in a formula. So when you have a formula, then you can do the autofill for the rest of the column or row. So for example, here we have customers, and then we have planned amount, whatever that could be, and then we could calculate the actual amount. So for example, we could have the percentage of increase or decrease. In this case, we are going to increase by 10%. So because here is 1.1, so 1 is 100%, and then if we add 0.1 to it, then it becomes 110%. So it's a different way, just another way of writing 110%, that is 1.1. And so using that, we can just calculate the actual amount. So let me just go ahead and create a function of formula. So equal sign that multiply by, let's see, if I were to do it, I'll say open parenthesis and no, that's not it. I'm just a little bit confused with the formula that is given in the textbook. I'm just trying to be a little bit creative here. Okay, let me just go ahead and do that. I see. Okay, so that the original plan, and then I click on B12 and hit the enter key, and it gives 37,520. So that's 10% increase of $34,109. So that's good. So that's, obviously that's correct. So my initial reaction is, okay, it's good. So I'm going to just do the autofill. Zoop. And this is not pretty because I have some dashes and pound sign and value exclamation, but I do see some values in here, and I am not sure exactly what's going on. Okay, my initial reaction will be panic. So let's take a look at the first formula. This is how you can figure it out, the problems. So click on the formula, I click on the cell, and then click on the formula bar. Okay, so I see these color coordinated boxes, the borders around, so that's correct. So we are dealing with the original amount, and then the increase, that's 110%, and then it gives the actual, so that's good. Then I go to the next cell, and then click on the formula bar again, and okay, so this is original value, original planned amount, and then the next box is we are multiplying with a cell that has no value in it. Okay, that's not good. So okay, I hit the enter key. Let's go down here to the next one, and then click on the formula bar again. I see the box, that's right. Oop, that's not good. So what's going on here is it goes from this, that, and then from that cell to that cell and that cell. So that's correct behavior, because when you do the autofill, it's supposed to increment the cell reference. So for example, B5, D3, B3, B4, B5, B6, B7, and so on. So that's a correct behavior. So we need to, but the issue is that we need B12, which is this one, to stay stational. Okay, we call it absolute reference. We need that to stay B12 for the rest of the column, while B3 becomes B3, B4, B5, and so on. So how do we do that? Well, we do it something like we call it absolute reference, or also commonly known as a anchored reference. And so let me explain what it means. So let me go to the second sheet. Let's say we have 3 sail ships, but one sailboat, with 3 sailboats, and one sailboat has an anchor. So anchor is in the ground, at the bottom of the sea, and these 2 other boats, they are free flowing. And then there's the wind start to blow, and what will happen? So these 2 boats will move. They can just move ahead, while this one with the anchor will stay the same. So for example, if that anchor was, if that anchored sailboat was, let's say, E7, this will stay E7, and then let's say this boat was, let's say, C7, it'll become C8, C9, C10, and so on, and so will be the same thing for that boat. Okay, it'll increment the row reference or the sail reference depending on the direction of the winds. It gets a little bit complicated, but for now we'll just go down the row. So let me go back to sheet 1. So the question is, how do we anchor this B12? Well, do you remember this? Let's see. Come back here. Let's take a look at this anchor. Let's say you are Microsoft engineer at you're Excel engineer at Microsoft, and then you are to designing some or picking a certain symbol that represents anchor. So let's say, looking at your keyboard, what key would represent the anchor the most, so that it's easier for Excel users to remember? So Excel user wants to, let's say, anchor something. What symbol that's resemble this anchor? Well, you can take a look at it and think hard, but let me give you what I think. Well, it looks closest to the $sign. So we have $sign in front of B, that's column B, and row number 12. So $sign B, $sign 12 will anchor this cell B12. Alright, so let's see what happens. The wind blows and then go down, all the way down, and voila, ooh, that looks much better. So let's take a look at the formulas. B4, B12, B5, B12, B6, B12, B7, B12. That's right. So it worked. So a little more detail. The anchor sign, let me go back to the original formula. The anchor sign or anchor symbol in front of, for example, this column will anchor B, column B, and also the $sign in front of 12 will anchor 12. So take a closer look here. So B12, with or without the $sign, B12 will stay the same because it's, the autofill goes down vertically. So column would not change. It's the row that'll change. So if you wanted to, sometimes you need to, if you wanted to, you can remove the anchor in front of the column, because column would not change because the nature of the orientation that the autofill happens. So look at this, B3, B12, B4, B12, and B6 and B12. Because I did autofill vertically, I don't have to put the $ in terms in front of the column. If you do it, it's not going to hurt unless there's a very specific reason, which is not that common, that could cause problem. But for this, something simple like that, it would not cause any problem. And also, if you are not very comfortable with putting $ in front of letters and numbers, what you can do is just while you just type in, let's say, B12, and then you press function key number 4. So press F4, so that will put the $ in front of the row and the column automatically for that cell reference that you just typed it in. Alright, that's how you do it.